I'm definitely not a normal golfer.
How would a pro golfer go in the long drive?
Oh, they're terrible. So at the time, my partner, she didn't realise she was pregnant till she was 21 weeks pregnant. 10 weeks later, he was actually born.
That bond wasn't an instant connection with my daughter.
I could see myself turning into a lot of things that my dad was. And I didn't want to be like that.
You're tuned into the Better Bloke podcast. I'm Matty.
And I'm Rob.
We're just a couple of average blokes who started a charity with one simple mission: to fuck off suicide as the leading cause of death for Aussie men our own age.
We talk shit, ask the big questions, and chat with guests that have been through the ringer and have come out the other side with a story that's worth hearing.
Some episodes will hit you in the feels, some will fire you up, and others will just give you a laugh and remind you you're not the only one out there winging it.
We also run events, connect with the pros, and build communities, all with one goal: build better blokes without all that fluff.
All right, let's get stuck in.
If you've played golf or gone to a driving range, 9 times out of 10 you've checked the top tracer and gone, I'm going to be number one. We're calling bullshit because the bloke beside us is usually number one at the top of these lists. We are sitting with the one, the only Matty Bombs. How you going, brother?
Yeah, good, boys. Glad to be here. Good to have a chat. And yeah, the man on top of the driving range number leaderboard all the time, I guess. Eh?
Yeah, all the time.
It's a bit of a good feeling. It makes you feel a bit of a man.
It's probably one of the more masculine things you can do. Just smashing balls.
Look, there's something about going to a driving range and you could be having a shit day. You go and just belt the shit out of a couple of balls.
100%.
You feel better.
A feeling when you just absolutely nuke a golf ball, it's like, it's just one of those things like people don't understand.
Until I saw your social accounts, I didn't understand what you did is like an actual sport.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not a normal golfer. Played a lot of normal golf as a kid growing up and tried to make a crack of that and did no good. Got into the gym, got a bit stronger, all those sort of things. Got back into golf and then I hit the ball, a pretty long way. And then somebody said to me, they're like, oh, you should try this long drive stuff. And I'm like, what's long drive? And they're like, oh, you just hit the ball as far as you can and whoever hits it the furthest wins. I'm like, that sounds pretty sweet. So I had a go at that, and that was 4 years ago now, and I just haven't stopped. So now I don't even play golf. I literally just driving range king, just, try and hit a ball as far as I can, and I've been lucky enough to travel the world with it now. And even have people tell me that I inspire and motivate them to do something which is cool, something I never thought would come from hitting a little golf ball.
You did the exact opposite to me. Like I was telling you before, when they first bought Top Tracer out at Golf Central, I was like sitting at number one with my 300 plus, and I was like, fuck yeah, and then checked it the next week. And then there's you sitting with like 370 or 380, and I'm like, that's me done. That's me done.
Oh, put him into early retirement.
Yeah, but everybody's always got that mate that can hit a ball so far, don't they? I just love hearing those stories. Somebody will be like, oh, my friend can hit a ball this far, and they don't know what I can do. And I say, oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
So you're literally flying to America for these competitions, and the sole purpose is who can hit that ball the furthest.
Yeah, so I compete in it's called the World Long Drive Tour. And it's not big in Australia, but America, everybody does. They do every sport, bigger and better, right? And it's massive over there. You got so many guys, and they're all your size. They're like massive giants, ex-baseball players. And yeah, we have all these events around the country where, yeah, you're literally standing on that box with normally 3 other blokes and hitting it. But it still has to be straight to count. So it's not just as far forwards. So we have a grid sort of mapped out, and it's got to stay within those lines for the shot to still count. But yeah, we're basically just swinging for the fences. It's like a home run derby sort of thing of golf. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty much with what they're doing. I would almost go as far to say that World Long Drive almost did what like Power Slap and all these like backyard fight clubs are doing now. That did it for golf. Because it's that excitement. It's like T20 for cricket.
Exactly what I say. T20, 100%.
It's just like,
what it
no
is.
one wants to see, that middle game. The purists, they respect it, they appreciate it, and they know how hard the game is. But for those everyday fans, they just want to see someone smoke the fuck out of a ball.
Especially the boys, like, big time. You got, like you said, your golf purists that they think what we do is not golf, but between the boys and mates and good dick measuring contest, it's pretty cool to be able to do it pretty well.
How would a pro golfer go in the long drive?
Oh, they're terrible.
No, really?
A good, even everybody talks Rory McIlroy or Bryson in terms of hitting a golf ball a long way. And
you'd go DJ, wouldn't you? DJ had a good drive on him.
I mean, if you're talking so one of the biggest things that they talk is ball speed. They measure because that's potentially how far the ball can go, is how far it leaves your golf club. And those boys are about 190 ball speed, and that's miles. And I'm north of 220. So
it's a big difference.
Yeah, my golf ball sort of weighs goodbye to probably where theirs finishes. It still goes a long way further than a normal pro golfer. And people don't really understand that. So when they see it, it's mind-blowing. It's how does a golf ball do that? That's pretty cool.
So if you're hitting 220, sort of one of the names that I guess most people, if they've dabbled in world long drive, would know would be Kyle.
Yeah, of course.
What's his ball speed at, just in comparison? Because you're the only Australian in the world long drive, aren't you?
At the moment, yeah, I'm the only one competing over there this year. And Kyle's not actually competing anymore, but he's the guy that everybody knows. He's the big long-haired fella that smacks a golf ball further than anybody. But he's just a freak. He's been north of 240.
Yeah, shit.
Which is wild. And he'll sit around 230, 235 all day. And yeah, he's just ridiculous.
So he's pretty much the Usain Bolt of...
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But, I say it a fair bit, but all these guys, they're all massive. They're all 6'4", 6'5", and I'm just this little midget. But I do all right for us shorter guys.
Pocket rocket.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Yeah, why does the leverage come in?
Yeah. So it's essentially the arm is an extension of the golf club. Yeah. And the further it can travel and the longer time it can take to get to the ball, it's got more potential, force, and trust me, I get real deep and scientific and all this shit. But yeah, it just acts as a longer lever.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so the potential for the length of how far it swings is way further than my little stocky arms.
Is that something that when you're at that level competing against the world's best, it's those small 1% things knowing about, your science and all that sort of stuff. That's you need to do that to be able to compete, don't you?
Dude, do you know how hard it is losing a competition at 400 plus yards by a yard?
Yeah.
I have lost competitions over there hitting at 427 yards, so 380 meters, and losing by half a meter. That's how much gets you staying in the competition and kicked out. At that distance, these guys are so good and so close that, 400 and something yards away, you're getting beat by a yard. It's
You find that in the top level of a lot of professional sports. There's almost that ceiling where, everyone gets to, and then the wiggle room's not that much. It's even Formula One or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The lap times are fucking close.
Exactly.
Or any racing, so close. And you'd think, how is it possible to go for an hour and then end up that close?
Yeah.
So, yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And it's heartbreaking to sometimes lose by this much when you're so far away, but we'll keep going back for more.
Apart from you just being able to smack balls really far, you are, there's a lot of layers to you as a bloke.
Oh, yeah.
So, we've had some good yarns while we're sort of setting up and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So, I guess it's one of those things that, everyone knows you as, Matty Bombs, the massive hitter, the big hitter. You travel the world playing long drive. But no one probably really knows, who you are as a bloke. So, who are you as a bloke? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of layers. I'm a dad, I'm a hard worker, I'm a partner, a mentor. I try and take on as many roles as I can, but I still think the hardest is being a parent, step parent. That's one of the craziest things that I have had to deal with and do deal with. And then, working a full-time job, and you got plenty of these other athletes that they don't work. All they do is they train, they recover, they train again and travel around and compete. And yeah, I'm busting my ass on a construction site 8-10 hours a day, trying to be home enough for the family and do what I got to do around the house and then train myself. But that's just life, you know. Like I couldn't see myself being handed things like for me, I almost feel like it's a reward from doing the daily life chores that a man's supposed to do, and then I'm lucky enough to get to do all this stuff on top of that. So I'm super grateful to have something like it. But yeah, life's crazy. You know, you boys know what it's like now. You give mates, oh, we should catch up. Like, yeah, let's catch up. So I don't have time to catch up.
How's next February?
Yeah. Yeah, I might be free then, and even then I'm probably going to be bloody busy with something. But that's just life to me. I wouldn't have it any other way.
A couple episodes ago, we had a chat with a guy, and he was the first guy to come on that was a stepdad. And we kind of asked him what his journey through it was. And he didn't actually have any dramas with it, which was kind of surprising. But we hear from a lot of guys that coming into a blended family, you know, you got to obviously deal with the parents, but also like it's a bit of a thankless job in terms of the kid can't really comprehend the situation as a whole. And then, you know, you got to deal with that because you're the adult. No, not putting any shit on the kid or anything like that, but it's something you as a man have to deal with. How's that been like for you?
I'd literally describe it as the hardest job in the world. I don't think there's anything harder than trying and being a successful step parent. I mean, essentially I'm just there as a support for my partner. You know, she's the kid's parent, essentially. I'm just trying there to support her, be the kid's friend. You know, I'm not there to be his dad. He's got a dad. So his dad's his dad. I'm there to be his friend, try and teach him what life's like. I had a pretty rough, not a great childhood myself, you know, and I don't think any kid should miss out on growing up and having that father figure around. So yeah, I'm just constantly trying to make them a better person and set them up for what's to come ahead in life, because most of the shit that happens in life you're not prepared for. So if I can just give him a little bit of an insight as to some things that he might come across as he grows up, that's my main goal, to just help him as much as I can.
Fair.
That's very fair.
But yeah, it's so hard. You know, you can't, plus the way the world is these days, you know what? I'm 40 tomorrow, and I remember I used to do the wrong thing. You know, Mum would smash me with a wooden spoon. I'd cop a hiding, you know, and I wouldn't do that again. You can't even yell at a kid these days, though. Like, you know, you've got to do it the right way and make sure you're not hurting. It's tough.
I guess that's like even harder to navigate when it's not your kid.
100%.
Right? So that's all the barriers of like, how do I shape this kid? How do I try and help him? Because the help is coming from a genuine spot, but there's also all these limitations that you have to deal with by not being his actual parent. But yeah, it's interesting. How long have you been in that situation?
So it'll be going on 5-6 years now. In both of my partners' kids' lives, and yeah, it's still an ongoing. You know, it has its moments, but like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. You know, I'm grateful for all of my family that are in my life. I've got my own boy who's 9, that he comes in and you know, mixes in and has a bit of fun in there too. But in terms of the way that you can approach difference, it's definitely different. And the way that plays on your mind, it's pretty wild.
Let's have a bit of a chat about your boy, because we spoke before, because that's obviously an experience that we both sort of share with having a premature kid. So he came into the world pretty early.
Yeah, wild. 31 weeks he was born. His everything. So at the time, my partner, she didn't realize she was pregnant till she was 21 weeks pregnant.
Oh, wow.
21 weeks, and she didn't know we were having a baby. There was literally, not really any signs of anything. And then we thought, something was going on, and we went in for a scan, and it was, oh, yeah, you're pregnant. Oh, yeah, sweet. Yeah, you're probably going to want to just wait around and come back in for your next scan because we think I think there's a scan around 21 weeks. It's like where you normally find out. I think it might be the gender reveal you can find out. And they're like, oh, well, it takes longer, so you'll have to come back. I'm like, oh, well, what for? And they're like, oh, yeah, we think you're about 20 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, wow. What was that like?
Dude, I won't forget. So many little goosebumps just then, man. Like, we just looked at each other and we're like, what? Like, that's more than halfway. Like, he's literally more than halfway along. So, yeah, not only there was the shock of finding that out, was then 10 weeks later, he was actually born as a 31-week-old baby. And that, again, that's another moment I just live in my mind forever. Wild, crazy.
What was it, before we sort of get into like sort of his entry into the world, what was it like coming to terms with the fact that you had no idea that you were going to be a dad and then realizing that, fuck, we're halfway through? Because like most people find out a lot earlier than that, and it gives you a bit of time to sort of prepare for everything.
Yeah.
Prepare as much as you can if you're
100%.
a first-time parent.
Yeah, I still, the whole thing was just it was a blur until it happened. And then, once it happens, it's something that slows right down. So yeah, I think, we all obviously tried to prepare as much as we could for it in the shorter time frame that we had. And people just don't realize the stress and the extra pressure that comes on both of us. Like I can only ever imagine how she really felt when you're almost just helpless. Like there's nothing you can do any part of that journey. Yeah, we did our best to prepare in the 10 weeks that we had, but he was just surprised right along the way. And born on Anzac Day too, pretty fitting for me. I've been born on such a day, been such a little fighter that he was and is. So, yeah, nothing I could ever have been prepared for.
We spoke earlier about when he did come early, it was maybe a catalyst for your first time to really wake up, and it sort of forced thoughts about mortality and how and what is important in life. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so, Matt, I'll never forget the moment. We rushed into the hospital. Even then, we still didn't know any of this was going to happen. They're just like, oh, yeah, take some Panadol, and, if you still feel not well, come in. And so she did that. And then I just had this, feeling that something wasn't right. So anyway, I've taken her into the hospital, and then they've done some examinations, had a bit of a look, and they're like, we need you to have, I think it was a steroid shot or something. And she's like, oh, I don't want that. And she's like, look, we're not asking you, we're telling you. They're like, you're in labor. You're 7 centimeters dilated or whatever it is, and you're about to have a kid. And at that moment, I'm just like, what? Yeah, goosebumps again. I'm like, he's like, so he's not a baby. He's not ready. Like, what happens? And like, in an instant, man, sirens going off, people running around everywhere, and they're gone. Both of them gone. I'm just sitting there going, is she going to be, are either of them going to live? Like, I had no idea about any of premmie babies or what happens in that scenario. And they were just taken away. And I'm just sitting there like, right. And then you go into this room, and I'm sitting there in a chair, man, and it's just, it's a reflection time. It's just a moment where nothing else matters. And it makes you wonder the things that it's a perspective's the word I love to use for it. Like, I've sat there and whinged about a broken phone screen before and acted like my life's ending. And here I am sitting there like, how am I going to deal with this? Like, what happens? And the thought of that I still draw back onto it, like you said today, when shit goes wrong and it's nothing. Like sometimes you get through some things in life and you're like, I'm never going to have to deal with anything like that again. And it is wild.
That feeling when your partner got taken off and you didn't know what was going on. Well, you knew what was going on, but you didn't know sort of what the processes were to get to there. Was, like you said, that, you didn't know if she was going to be all right, baby was going to be all right. Did that affect you in the sense that all your focus went to her and not how the baby was? Or were you still worried about both? Or like where was your brain going with that?
I was definitely worried about both. For me, it was what she, like, I didn't know if they were together, if, she knew what was going on, because they would have, she went through an emergency C-section where I'm pretty sure they'd knock you out from that. And then, it was literally just a massive fear of the unknown. Definitely, I think more so the thought of her, if everything wasn't okay, like that was, the biggest worry for me was, I know how I can be strong enough if I have to, but I knew that was another thing. I just had to be there to support her, and whatever was about to come, I had no idea, literally, like not even the slightest of what was going to happen.
Is this anything you've unpacked before?
Not really.
No, it seems like it. Like it seems like you're sort of just going through it in your head, as you're speaking about it.
I want to throw this over to Rob, because we had a discussion on Rob's experience through this, but it was probably near enough a year ago. I think when we did the Get to Know Rob, it might have been episode 30 something. Since going through the journey you've been going through, better understanding yourself, do you have a better insight on how you think that situation affected you? Because Rob didn't seem to admit that he was too worried. He got on with it to provide support to Jess. This forced view of all this stuff that could go bad, has that changed?
No, I think my focus, like, 'cause I had a bit of regret going through it, because my worry wasn't for B, who was my youngest. All my worry went to Jess. So I went automatically to like, okay, this could go wrong here. Set yourself up. Don't, like, sort of just expect the worst, and what happens from there, like, will be sweet. And everything came up Mickey Mouse, so it worked out. But yeah, there was sort of like my automatic brain response went, let's think about the worst case scenario, that all I want is the missus to be healthy.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that sort of fucked me in the sense that, like, I
felt guilty after.
And I had to sort of grow a bond with my daughter then, where, like, with my son, bang, instant, like, I felt love and emotion for him, and like there was just something special from like the second he was born. And both of them were like emergency C-sections, so it was chaotic.
Yeah.
But yeah, with my girl, it was like, and I don't know if it was because of the NICU situation, so it was maybe just like a protection thing for myself, like, let's just wait and see, which is fucked up to hear, but it's that sort of, I know, you guess you just protecting yourself from anything bad that may happen, just so you can be that protector.
Do you think if you had to prepare yourself that the worst outcome was going to happen, you had to deal with any of the grief at the time?
Nah, because I wouldn't have dealt with the grief at the time.
You would have put that real deep and buried it.
I would have buried that and been the rock that I feel like my family would have needed at that time, and then I would have unpacked it later on.
And that's where I think, like you said, you would go straight to your partner in the worry then, because if something happens to her, well, you know, she's, I don't know if it sounds the wrong way, it's like, she's life already.
That is, 100%. That was sort of my processing, which, like, it does. Like, saying it sounds fucked up, but it's, I guess that's what you do to sort of be able to handle those situations and do that. But yeah, like I said, that sort of started out that bond wasn't an instant connection with my daughter because of it. Like, it's good now. Fuck, love it a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to. It's not like the movies where it's fuck, I love this kid so much.
Oh, well, that's, you know, part of my whole experience. I've never had what's it like to, I don't want to say it, make it in a bad, I just didn't get the joy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you see so many people that have had kids and it's exciting and you get this, you know, this joy and this, oh, what are we going to have? Let's have a party. Let's do this. Let's celebrate. I fucking got none of that.
Get 10 weeks of chaos.
Dude, I literally, it was literally like fucking, you got to get ready. Be ready. Oh, I'm getting ready. Yep. Okay. And then it was like, there was no joy in it. I genuinely had no joy in having a child. Like, I've thought of that the happiness, and that's something that I always wondered about having another one was, for one, I'm scared shitless of ever having to deal with that stuff again. But two, I've always wondered what the joy feels like to actually go through the journey and like I said, be a part of it, because I didn't really get to be a part of any of it. It was all just, now this is happening. Now this is happening. Now what are you going to do? Well, that's my life. It's sort of like the precursor and the story of my life. That's just how things happen, which is wild. But that's, The one thing I do genuinely think about the joy of, it's supposed to be one of the happiest times of people's lives, I think. And
is it?
I don't know. I
is
just
it though?
Yeah.
Like, it's a joyous occasion, but like the happiest, I think everyone should have different things that they would consider to be the happiest time of their life.
Yeah, that's how I picture my wedding day.
Yeah.
When I finally get married. It's been, you know, I'm even just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be, I'm going to be a mess on my wedding day. I can guarantee already. Like, thinking about it, like, I'm engaged at the moment. We'll get married hopefully really soon. And I think that's that moment for me, is that. I'm a fucking sook, eh?
Now, we've had this conversation.
Man, bad.
On the couch.
Bad.
And it often comes back to guys having to go through their own processes to feel like they deserve to be happy like that.
Mm.
Do you think that has played a role? Like you said, life's just giving you shit.
Yeah.
One after another.
Yeah.
And you're emotional now thinking about, hey, look, I'll finally get something that is pure and joyous and happy.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps me going is I've been through a lot, and I can always have a goal, a picture of the end. And going through some of the shit that I have been through, you know, I've been able to always have the vision of the end. And while there's still a vision and there's still a journey to go on for it, that's the shit that keeps me going. Like, whether it is a partner or your kids or just being able to have a vision of what it looks like, it's such a strong thing to get through some of the toughest stuff you'll ever have to deal with. And don't get me wrong, I know some people, they're not able to see it. But I've got some pretty good visions of the future and what life looks like, and that's what excites me.
You've rattled me with just seeing like how emotional we got with like just the excitement and the joy in you. I'm just like, fuck.
Oh, dude, I'm fucking, yeah. I'm pretty, on the outside, I might look a tough dude. I'm fucking not at all.
Just a big softy.
Oh, mate, big time.
It's softy. Just waiting for his wedding day.
Yeah, well, might have to make it happen sooner now when I talk about it like that.
Yeah, she's going to want to marry you this weekend.
Yeah, well,
Seeing that.
mate, I didn't expect it to take so long, but that's been another chapter of life that's made that not happen yet as well. So,
Well, you just touched on mindset, and I know that's something that you pride yourself in, your ability to, visualize and keep going on with all these hurdles coming your way. Let's talk about mindset. What does that mean for you?
for me, it's just the ability to, and I got this from a psychologist when I finally, accepted I needed to see one for dealing with a whole bunch of shit. And one of the best tips things that he ever spoke to me was finding the ability to make a decision when you remove the emotion from it. Because so many people base decisions on emotion. But if you can almost remove yourself from what is in front of you, and we're all great at giving advice, right? So many of us are great at telling your mates, oh, you'll be right, like you'll get through it. And you give great advice. But when trying to take it or give your own, we all just seem to struggle with making that decision or the right choice in the moment where you need it. So for me, it wasn't until I could remove myself from a scenario and sort of see it from another perspective and look at it, what if, what if? What's worst case? And dealing with a lot of the things that I have, just the gratitude of what I still do have, hands down, beats the thought of what I don't, almost every time.
I heard a great thing a little while ago was that you shouldn't make important decisions whilst under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or heavy emotions.
Yeah.
Because the three of those things all have the same going on for decisions.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely agree. And that, the feelings and emotion part of it is as heavy as, those things where we're not ourselves. Because you're not thinking normally when you're so attached or your brain's just not working.
Not logically anyway.
Nah. I mean, we've all made plenty of, stupid decisions, but it's been able to see when that's coming and stop yourself before you make a fucking real bad decision. Because it's easily happened in the moment. So many times. I'm doing all right.
I want to, just because we're getting heavy and like deep in this chat, I want to ask you a question. I think Matty knows what I'm going to ask you before I even ask it.
Yeah.
Because this is like
the mirror question?
Yeah. So, and this is full disclaimer, this is something that both Matty and I have sort of been asked, or I've asked him. Can you look in a mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself?
That's a great one. I definitely think there's parts of me that I could, 100%. There's still things that I think I could be better at, but whether or not that's not loving myself, I think that I've actually said similar in terms of there's a big difference between loving yourself and being in love with yourself. And it's, everybody should love themselves.
You should. Everybody should love yourself.
100%.
Themselves.
100%. And that's where, and you can tell when somebody, is in love with themselves rather than you know, there's a lot of arrogance and stuff that comes on the other side of it. But yeah, in the overall question, that's really tough.
It is. It's a very, very tough question.
Um,
I can comfortably say that, like, I'm proud of myself, and as can you. But I can't look in the mirror and wholeheartedly say like that I love myself.
yeah, I don't think I could.
Yeah, I had the same answer.
In a overall, nah.
And it's a very, very confronting thing to.
Yeah,
But since we first spoke about it, I think it's an interesting thing to reflect on, like having that question put to you and you answering it that way makes you kind of think about why. And I think that has been a good thing to confront that. We had a guest on, Damien Ryder, older bloke, probably 50s or something, I hope. And he was the only bloke that said yes. And this is a man that's, he's like a mindset coach. He's big into all his
no, yeah,
meditation and breath work and like everything. So he's done the work
yeah.
to be able to get to that space. And he only said it came about in the last couple of years. So I think for a man to feel truly content, you know, you need to really do a lot of work to get yourself there.
Big time. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a fucked question though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think, there's definitely layers to it too, you know, like I said, there's nobody wants to make them sound like they think they're fucking top shit, you know. Yeah, there's things that I know I'm great at and I do really well, but yeah, there's stuff that I know I could be a lot better at. And I don't think until you can be content or happy with those things, I don't think you could say that you're in love with yourself.
I think it's one of those things that when I got asked that question off the rip, I was like, yeah, I can.
Rob didn't have to do it on camera.
No. You did.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just left field. You didn't even know it was coming.
Yeah.
And I think
It's awesome.
You were pretty comfortable at the beginning, and then
My answer was very similar to you.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely parts I'm proud of, I love, I'm glad.
Yeah.
But then I'm not a finished work of art and I'm very painfully aware of that.
And they're the parts we go to first. So I think that's why your initial is like, you know.
Yep.
But then it's like, there's definitely things that I still work in progress with myself that until you're at that point where it's clear. I think it'll be clear, 100%.
I think it will. Everyone will find that point where it's clear, and you can comfortably say, "Yeah, I do." Or you get yourself to a level where you're happy enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of work in progress, you said just before that it got to the stage where you're like, I need to go and work on myself, and you got a bit of external help.
Yeah.
Was there something that led into you being like, shit, I probably should go down this avenue of getting some help?
Yeah, just my ability to deal with shit being thrown at me. Like my initial reaction and the way I would handle something straight away was just, it wasn't good. And unfortunately, people the closest to me were the sufferers of things like that. And I, almost became somebody I know I didn't want to be that dude. And I realized if I just keep going down that path, I would have no one. I would have just been on my own. I would have, probably thought I was happy. I wouldn't have had anything. I couldn't keep treating people the way that I would, or react a lot to the way that I did on a lot of things. Because I'd not proud of some of the situations I've handled in my past, but now knowing that I've got tools to deal, I wouldn't have got them without help.
Would you say what was that sort of based in? Was it regulating your emotions or just how you communicated?
I think being able to accept that, for one, I was at fault in situations as well. Like I'd be initially never take any responsibility for it. I'd always be looking for an excuse or take the easy way out or not admit to, doing the wrong thing. And And then it's like you do it so many times that you end up believing yourself that it's okay, that you can do these things and it doesn't matter. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, your family's sort of always going to be there no matter what. But the wrong decision, the wrong decision based off a reaction or a like an anger or something like that, it just never ends well. I don't think that's really what you were getting at, but
No, it's different for every person. Like,
Yeah.
I think for you, it's accountability was probably one of the
yeah,
issues.
yeah, and I think a lot of that, it you know, I've delved a lot into the reasons why, and it, you know, a lot of it comes from childhood. And at one point, actually, that reminded me of what it was, a realization was I could see myself turning into a lot of things that my dad was. And I didn't want to be like that. So for me, it was, I need to be better because I don't want to be like that. Well, that was a pretty shit childhood, but that's all good.
It's not all good. No, it's all good if you're working through it though. That's
Yeah, 100%.
that's the biggest thing.
100%. But even now, I get along with my dad now. You know, we're mates. And that's, you know, I think he suffers a lot more now for not being there for me. And I don't want to feel that at his age. Because then, like you're saying, you know, imagine being close to the end of your life and, yeah, having all that over me, I don't want that.
A lot of the guys that we speak to, that they have, I guess, a bit of a rough childhood. A lot of the time, when they step into fatherhood, it's exactly what you just said. That you try and give your children, I guess, everything that you never had as a child, or you try and do the opposite. So you're just like, yeah, no, I don't want them to have this experience. So, silver lining, maybe.
Yeah,
Is
100%.
that, you know, because of what you went through
Yeah, 100%.
and your ability to sort of unpack it now, it's giving, you know, your ones a greater experience in life.
Yeah, well, even to the point, like lucky enough with my golf, like my little boy, it's like I'm almost his little role model, superhero thing. So that's what I was saying before. I never imagined that. And just being able to hear your own kid say these things and be just proud of you. For me, that's like one of the greatest achievements of ever in my life, is knowing my little boy's proud of me and yeah, it's cool. I love that.
With you going to sort of like seek professional help, was that since you've been on this trajectory with long drive?
Nah, well
Or
before.
it was well before that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think the first time I got help it was after he was already born. So I'd already dealt with that. You know, me and his mum split. He was probably 1. Thought I'd dealt with that, but I think a lot of men do this, is pushing it away. They think they've dealt with it, but until something else brings that back, it's not dealt with. So the ability to push things away can only last for so long. And then, you know, how much can you handle before? Yeah, I can't imagine the next step from some of those feelings. So that's why I went and got some help. You know, I couldn't deal with it myself, so I knew that I couldn't keep going on that road anymore because it would have led to a bad spot. And yeah, one of the best things I ever did, seeing a psychologist, chat to someone.
How quickly did you find it started putting you in the right direction? Because people have different responses to this.
Man, the second I got off the phone, as I was sitting there talking about things, and I still do it now. I saw a psychologist yesterday, and one of the coolest things for me is sometimes they don't even say anything to you. You say it yourself. And as you're saying it, you feel it and you realize as you're speaking about it that you normally wouldn't, you're like, holy crap. Like, I never even in a million years thought that was any part of this. And then it's like a light bulb goes off. And you're like, wow, this is cool.
The best therapist I ever had, and we ended up having chats about therapy in therapy. And he said, my job is to make you explain it to yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%.
I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And that's what he did.
I'm so good at it. Sometimes he doesn't, and I just go on this tangent, and I'm like talking about something, like, oh, that reminds me. And then I end up at all these other places, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Or I know so many times before I had a session, it'd be like, I got nothing to talk about today. I'm going to cancel. And you're like, I'm not going. I'm sweet. I'm all good. Dude, the second I sit down and I just don't shut up. And I love that. Like, just being able to talk to somebody and just a perspective that you wouldn't normally see. Something small might be massive.
This has now been, 7, 8 years or something since you first went?
Yeah.
Is it something you stop and then go back to when shit starts getting hectic? Or do you just kind of intermittently go like, oh, it's probably a good time to maybe get ahead of something here?
Yeah, I won't lie. I went a bit and then thought I was sweet and then didn't see anybody for a while and then made some few more mistakes in, this part of life. And I didn't want to make those again. Once was enough. I'm not sweeping things under the rug anymore. Not scared, but the thought of really messing up potentially what I have now that could be the rest of my life, I wanted to know how to deal with that and explain why, a lot of the time, why that I feel that way or why I will react that way, because I can't do that myself. And that's where if you find the right dude as well, or lady, massive help.
100%. Yeah, we talk about that all the time, finding the right person. I went through 3 that honestly dog shit. The 4th one, sweet, started making progress. And there was about 7 years in between that 1st and 4th one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's an important takeaway.
Yeah, big time. And just there's no need to be scared about it. I think that's still a big thing, It's a lot of the sayings out there, like, it's genuinely one of the best things I ever did. Was got some help from somebody that could help me. Because you can't help yourself. You just keep banging your head against a wall, and it's not fun.
I think there's this stigma around it that, like, we'll use your golf for example. If you were to not go and get professional help, and because you work with some professionals in it to help you with your swing and give you your tactics and whatnot. Mm-hmm. If you weren't to go to them, you wouldn't be where you're at.
No chance.
You've got no issues in going to that because that's where you want to be. But there's this issue with blokes going to speak to a professional about their head because they're like, nah, they want to be in a good headspace.
Yeah,
but they've got an issue with actually going and speaking to a professional who can get them there. And
I think I've been in the other end of it too. That it's not cheap. A lot of the time as well. A lot of people I know, I was like, I can't afford that. Like, it's something that I know I used to waste money on shit way worse than that back in the day. But the thought of spending money on yourself, it's just like, nah, I just prefer not to. So another great thing is if it is something that you wonder, you can get some help through your doctor as well. I don't think a lot of men know that. You can see your doctor and actually get
mental health care plan.
Yeah, mental health care plan. And you get X amount of sessions that you don't have to pay for. And even just getting a start, like it almost becomes addictive growing as a person by understanding yourself.
I think it's good to mention as well that if anyone listening has, if they work for like a a decent sized company, a lot of companies now have EAP systems.
That's what I'm with one at the moment.
Yeah.
I was struggling a couple of months ago in my industry at work, and I spoke to somebody there, and they put me through a program where I'm, dealing with being essentially a step parent at the moment, because that's like we just spoke about before. I couldn't do it. I thought I was no good at it, failing, and I needed to find some strategies and some other ways to deal with that. And yeah, best thing, again, in a different environment, completely different scenario, learning just how to understand and unpack things a bit better.
As we come up to the end of this, is there any other topics we want to delve into? I know we spoke about a lot of shit before we came in here.
We did. I want you to sort of tell us, and I guess anyone else listening, what's new and exciting and what's upcoming for Matty Bombs.
Yeah, so big thing at the moment. Another roadblock that just came in my way, got made redundant where I was working full time. Another thing where at the moment it could have been doom and gloom, like, oh, what am I going to do next? I'm actually going to progress into coaching. I think I've hit that many golf balls with a driver. I know a fair bit about it, and it's my passion. It's my number one favourite thing to do in the world. And I've started coaching a few blokes and seeing the enjoyment they get out of hitting a new drive, the furthest they've ever hit. For me, that's something that is the forefront of my focus at the moment, is growing a coaching business. I've got the World Championships in September coming up for World Long Drive, so I've already qualified for that over in America. Man, I want to win it. I want to win the World Championships this year. So yeah, there's plenty going on, and I don't doubt that there's going to be some more roadblocks that pop up on that journey. But yeah, for me, it's building a business where I can help people in my expertise now. And like you said before, there's a feeling of hitting a golf ball out of the middle of the club that just takes off, that some people don't get that feeling. So I want to bring that feeling to people, just helping people. I love helping people, and that's my gift. So I want to share that, and getting paid to do it is, just a bonus, really. So yeah, it's a bit more of the golf, helping some other people get married. And yeah, just be happy. I think I deserve to be happy. And that should be a goal. I don't know whether that's some people's goals, just,
That's a fucking great goal. That should be everyone's goal.
100%.
Happy.
100%. So yeah, I guess that's me. That's it. Matty Bombs, all my online stuff. I'm always trying to do funny, make some funny videos or relatable content for people, because making content's hard. I'm not an influencer, but I got to make it as well.
Cool.
So yeah,
all the links to your stuff are in the comments, in the description, so they can go and check out you smashing those balls, and also get in touch if you do want to learn how to
smoke a ball 300 plus, because it's possible.
Yeah, of course it is.
Anyone can do it.
Most people are just scared to hit the ball.
You reckon you can do it?
I actually every time I go to the golf range, I can't do the two-hand thing, but with one hand, I can fucking sling it. I don't know how far.
Snappy Gilmore, there's a guy that does that.
One hand, I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, he's one-handed, does like a fucking cowboy thing. And
yeah,
absolutely.
That's the only way I can hit it straight.
We should have the driving range.
We should.
But it's going to have to be Brisbane.
Yeah, right.
All right, done.
I won't knock him off, but you might be in
I
trouble.
might be able to give you the tip that you know.
We'll do it. Actually, yeah, let's do this. We should make a better bloke day out of it.
Again.
We'll get a bunch of boys to come down, hit some golf balls. We get Matty Bombs coming down, and everyone can try and beat the king.
Sounds good.
No one's beat the king. On that note, be better. Thanks for tuning in. If you got anything out of this, be sure to show some love on whatever it is that you're listening on, and follow us across all our socials.
If you want to know more, head to betterblokeproject.org, where you can learn about the programs we deliver, find out about upcoming events, and donate to the cause of building better blokes.